Hello, everybody, and welcome to my spring season anime wrap-up video thingy. I always feel like these videos are too, structured, I guess. I feel like a wrap-up doesn't need to be set up in the same way that a first impression does, right? Because a first impression is like, here's each individual thing, here's how I felt about the very beginning of each individual thing. With the wrap-up, I feel like all it needs to be is me saying, here's the stuff I spent my time on, here's what I felt was worth it, here's what I felt wasn't worth it, and then everything else I'm just gonna discard into the wind. So yeah, without further ado, I'm actually pretty impressed with myself. I completed quite a few shows. I completed a lot of stuff. And you know what was so cool? There were some shows where I was like, aw yeah, loved it from beginning to end. And then there were some shows where I was like, this is gonna be garbage, and it wound up being amazing. One of those, which I've tried to like push it out there via Twitter ever since, but ReZero is one that I gave a lot of flack to, and that show has wound up being great. Some people have complained that it's a bit slow at times just because of the nature of sort of the mechanics of how it works, not to refer to it like a video game, but like there's a very specific element to ReZero that sort of gives the feeling of a slog, but I still found it so engaging. Sam and I have really enjoyed it. There are really tense moments in almost every episode in a good way. Another one that I gave a lot of flack to was Tanaka-kun. You guys remember that? I was like, man, Tanaka-kun, I mean, it could be cute, I guess, but it's just so, like, sleepy feeling, and I sort of wasn't fully paying attention. I don't know. It seems like it might be okay. Tanaka-kun wound up being so adorable. I was really sad when it was over. One of my gripes was that all of the characters were kind of monotone, and I was like, man, I really need, like, a peppy character, right? I really need a peppy character to show up and bring some energy to the show. And over time, we got lots of peppy characters, right? We got, like, almost immediately afterward, we got an extremely peppy character who was just, like, the light of my life. So Tanaka-kun wound up being fantastic. What else have I finished? Oh, Boku no Hero. Boku no Hero was so great. And you know what I loved is that I really loved it from the very beginning because I'm a sap. Sam was not feeling it at the beginning. And by the end, he was like, I need more. I need more. This was so good. And I was like, I know. So, yeah, as somebody who didn't really like the manga very much, or, you know, what I've read of it anyway, it was so cool to watch it being animated and really fall in love with it. You know, the same way that Aaron really fell in love with Haikyuu, even though neither of us really likes the Haikyuu manga. So yeah, Boku no Hero wound up being so good. The music is great. I love all of the characters. I can't wait until we get to delve into the other characters a bit more. But I thought that was just like a fantastic shonen battle, just star in the sky this season. Okay, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I'm just talking about whatever I want. I'm not following this list. This list that I was going to go by. Mayoiga is garbage. Please don't watch it. Please don't waste your time on The Lost Village. It's so bad. Every character is awful. The story is awful. You spend your time being like, man, I hate every character in this, but I guess I'll keep watching it because I have to know why. I have to know why all of this is going on. And then at the end, you're like, I mean, I have a new why. Why did I waste so many hours of my life watching this show? It's so bad. It's just so terrible. Please don't watch it. For me, if you love me at all, please just don't watch this show. Space Patrol Luluko continued to be fantastic. I thought that it was one of the best short form anime I've ever seen. It was very obviously like a weird drug trip through every Studio Trigger property, which I was fine with. Some people were saying that they thought that it wouldn't have been as entertaining if it didn't have those call-outs. I disagree. I completely disagree. I don't think that they were necessary at all. They were fun. I got to be like, yeah, that's a kill thing, right? But they were not necessary. I thought that the way the show was put together was just so perfect, just so perfectly sporadic, and adorable. It was adorable. I loved it. The other Studio Trigger one was Kisniver. And to be honest, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I sobbed through a couple of these episodes. A couple of them hit me really hard. I was very, very dissatisfied with the ending. I thought that Kisniver would have benefited from being twice as long if it was a 22 or 23 episode anime instead of a 12 episode anime. I think that would have been really beneficial in terms of its storytelling, because by the end of it, I felt just so dissatisfied, right? There were elements of, like, Kisniver was supposed to be, well, I don't want to spoil anything, but there are themes. I'll say there are themes in Kisniver that are supposed to be explored, and I feel like we didn't explore it very well. Like, the main theme of Kisniver, I don't feel like we explored very well. And by the end, like, the whole reveal at the end, or I guess, like, the how to solve everything at the end. Okay. Alright, that's... okay. Along with ReZero, the other one that's still going right now is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable, which is perfectly surreal and weird and has had plenty of episodes where I was like, what? But I enjoy every moment of it. JoJo's is one of those shows that's for a very specific type of person. Like, not saying that it isn't popular. It's very popular. But I think there are definitely people like Sam who watch a JoJo's and go, nah, I'm good. And JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has continued to be surreal and, so to speak, bizarre. So, if that's what you were looking for in a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's fantastic. Anne Happy, I watched 7 episodes of Anne Happy and was like, I'm good. Bakuon, I dropped at episode 7 as well. I don't remember exactly why, but there were just a couple of moments in that show that made me enjoy it less, unfortunately. But I would say that Bakuon overall was very cute. Bungo Stray Dogs, I haven't talked about yet. That show, I liked. I did like it. I think that there were plenty of moments where the comedy didn't hit quite right for me. I don't quite know how to explain it. Because I did really like it. I liked the story. I liked all of the characters. But there was just an element to the explanations that I don't know. I don't know how to say this without just sounding like I'm making up words. Like, Bungo Stray Dogs is about a bunch of detectives who have superpowers, right? And sometimes the powers were a little bit unclear, or, like, relationships were a little bit weird, right? And it kept me from saying, I really enjoyed this show. There were just, like, little flicks of what that made me go, The Doctor, best character, she's barely in it. I was like, what is this? Joker Game was pretty disappointing for me because I thought that it was going to be a full story arc involving all of the spies, and instead it's episodic. It's very, very episodic. Each episode follows like a specific spy or maybe 2. There's nothing connecting it. There's nothing connecting it aside from the fact that they're all spies from the same agency. And I found that to be very, very disappointing. I didn't really feel any tension in this show at all. Because with each new episode, I was like, well, nothing that happened in that last episode is going to bite anybody in the butt, because guess what? We're starting a whole new thing. There were a couple that were like connected, but it would be like part 1 and part 2, you know. Flying Witch is adorable. If you want like a textbook slice of life, but there are witches, Flying Witch, it's great. They have entire episodes where they're like, let's go pick herbs. And then we'll fry them up and eat them. Let's talk about how to cook hamburg steaks. And I'm like, okay, there's a high possibility in every single episode that there will be no magic. It's just like, some episodes, they talk a lot about magic. Some episodes, they don't. And it's kind of awesome. It's just like normal people living their lives, except a couple of them are witches. And sometimes it comes up. I don't know. It's like adorable somehow. But I really, really enjoyed Flying Witch. Sakamoto desu ka? I loved. I kind of wanted it to be a short form. After I had watched a few episodes, I was like, man, I feel like since each episode is 2 or 3 stories, this should have been a short form anime. But the end, I think, was really sad. I don't know. No confirmation, but it might have been really sad. I don't know. I'm not saying this to try and like save your feelings. I'm saying that because I'm not sure. I've been looking at Reddit threads. I've been reading all kinds of stuff to figure out, like, was that a sad ending? I'm trying to figure it out. It's like, anyways, Sakamoto desu ka, a fantastic comedy that definitely ended on a somber note. Which was really interesting. Some other stuff that I dropped, a bunch of people told me to watch Netoge. Oh my god, Sam and I watched 3 episodes and we were like, we're out of here. This is like, cannot watch that. Twin Star Exorcists, we watched like 5 episodes of. No thank you. Ace Attorney, he never picked up again. I never went back to it. What else did I drop? I'm trying to remember. And Happy, like I said. Oh, Super Lovers, obviously. Panda Piece, I didn't wind up watching any more of. So, yeah. I think that's pretty much everything from this season. I liked a lot of stuff. I mean, I wouldn't have finished so many shows if I didn't like a lot of the shows that I saw, right? But there were definitely a couple of little stinkers. And there were a couple of just, like, sweet surprises, like Tanaka-kun, one of being just, like, one of my absolute favorites. Bakuon disappointed me a little bit at random points. And ReZero. ReZero was a dark horse for me. Didn't think that I was going to enjoy that as much as I did. And Boku no Hero, obviously. Just lots of good shows. Lots of really good stuff from this last season. I'm really excited for the summer season as well. So now that has started, the second episode is starting to come out for some of these shows. The first episode still hasn't come out for some of them. So once we've been able to watch the first episode of most of the standouts, then I'll be able to make my first impressions for the summer season. So be sure to keep an eyeball peeled for that. If you have a show that you think might slip my radar from this summer season and you really want to make sure that I get a good look at it, feel free to let me know in the comment section. Also, if you totally disagree with me about something that I said in this video, feel free to discuss it in the comment section respectfully with one another. Do not call each other dummies or anything like that. Yeah. That's my wrap up, man. There were some really good ones and there were some okay ones and there were some no thank you. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you are having some good animus in your life. I'll see you next time. All right? Mwah!